as his wife, we want, when he thinks of us, when he thinks of home, he thinks of peace and relaxation. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Gems and Pearls with Love. To all who are new here, welcome. My name is Caitlin Clarice. On this channel, I talk about biblical womanhood, being a godly wife, godly mother, biblical femininity, homemaking, and the like. So if those topics interest you, go ahead and subscribe. Ladies, today we are going to be talking about 3 different reasons your husband may dread coming home. Now, there can be plenty of reasons your husband may dread coming home, and some of it may have absolutely nothing to do with you. But these 3 things that I have chosen to talk about today are things that you can do something about. Before I get into these 3 different things, I want to say that, beauties, my content here, even things that may be difficult to hear, it is not made to judge, it's not made to bring down others. Matter of fact, a lot of these things that I talk about and do nots are things that I personally have done, and some things that I even still struggle with today. This is supposed to just cause you guys to maybe take some time for some self-reflection. And you know what, there are some things that may just not apply to you. Your husband, your home, your life is going to be different than mine. So I really want to encourage you ladies, take what applies to you and leave behind what doesn't. But I just want to make sure and say that please do not feel discouraged if these are things that you do. It is not made to discourage you. As a matter of fact, it's made to uplift you by causing you to do some self-reflection. And if this is something that you want to make adjustments to, then you can go ahead and do that. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1, he feels the heaviness of home before he even enters. Like I said previously, there can be many different reasons why that's the case, but we definitely do not want to add to that as wives. And how we can add to that? By sending him messages, letting him know all the things that are going wrong. Little Bobby is being disobedient. Little Sally is having an attitude today. This one is something that I personally struggle with for sure. Because my husband is my BFF, when I am in the heat of the moment and something is going on that maybe really upset me, especially if it's something to do with one of my children, it's very tempting for me to grab my phone and go ahead and be like, oh my gosh, you won't believe what Elijah did, or whatever the case is. That is really tempting for me to do, and it's something that I am trying even still to this day. Make sure that I am not doing that, because here's the thing, ladies. Our husbands, naturally, they are fixers, right? They want to fix problems. So when they are hearing this is going on and that's going on and this in the house needs to fix and whatever other problems that are going on in the home, when they are hearing these things, automatically in their mind, they're trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to solve this issue? These are things that they're going to need to hear about. These are things that we are going to need to discuss with our husbands at some point. But while they are at work and they are dealing with work issues and how to fix whatever it is that they are trying to deal with at work, it's not the time for them to really be hearing about all these things that they need to deal with at home. That is going to cause them to feel more strained, to feel more of a burden. And that's what I mean when I say the heaviness of home. They are already feeling that before they even get through the door. So of course you're not going to really be excited to go home when you know that there's a whole bunch of problems waiting for you. Again, I'm going to say it again, that they may feel that way even without us saying anything. But as wives, don't we want to do what we can to alleviate that as much as possible, and not add to that by going ahead and messaging him and calling him with all of the problems at home. Number 2, he has no time to unwind. Just as we do not want to be bombarding him with all of the problems and things that he needs to be doing while he's gone, we definitely do not want to do it as soon as he gets to the door. As soon as he opens the door, hey, we need to get the trash out. I mean, just take it slow, give him a minute. Another thing we may be tempted to do as soon as our husband gets to the door, and I've seen this quite a bit even in videos and reels on social media. I completely understand the reason for this. Like, if you're at home, and I know because I'm at home with the kids, it's tiring, and not even just physically but emotionally and mentally. It can be very draining, to be honest. And you're home all day with these kids, so you're glad when your partner comes to the door to know that, okay, it's not all on me right anymore. So it can be really tempting that as soon as he comes in, here, take your child, I'm out of here, and just kind of go about your business. And like, it may be tempting to do that, but I wouldn't recommend doing that as soon as he comes to the door. Just giving him the baby and just saying, okay, you take care of the baby. Like, give him a minute. Give him a few minutes to come in, to maybe shower if he wants to, get cleaned up. Take a few minutes to just rest. Take some time to even let his mind switch from work mode to home mode. Like, give him some time and space to unwind before we, shove the little ones in his hands. And when I say that, I'm not talking about children coming to greet their dad. Of course, he's going to want his children to come and greet him, give him hugs, kisses, etc. But I'm saying the whole thing about, like, just, here you go, here's your kids, I'm out of here. Like, having that kind of an attitude is not something that is very welcoming for your husband as soon as he gets to the door. Let him have some time to unwind. All right, ladies, and last but not least, number 3, no greeting. He comes to the door, silence. He walks in, nobody cares. Like, maybe he might get a little, hi dad, or yeah, hi, well, you're busy in the kitchen and you're cooking and you're doing whatever you're doing. I get it. We have things to do. You might be busy. You're trying to get that meal on the table for him. But really, it doesn't take that long for us to just pause what we are doing for just a minute, right? Put down the mixing spoon, whatever you're doing, and just go and greet him with a smile and a hug. Just take the time to greet him. Encourage the children to acknowledge his presence, because, ladies, your husband is out there working to provide for his family, for you. So imagine the very same people that he's out there working to provide for, he comes home and it just seems that nobody could care less that he is even home. That is not going to give him that warm, I can't wait to come home feeling. Honestly, the thought of a man coming in from work, or even if it's a woman coming in from work, really, and not being acknowledged at all, I don't think that's only sad, but I honestly think that is truly disrespectful. And I know that if you are a godly woman, you do not want to do this to your husband. All right, ladies, hold up 1 second. Okay, I know I said I had only 3 points, but let me tell you guys, I was in the middle of editing this video and this final point popped in my mind, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how could I forget this point? How could I have forgotten this? This is probably one of the most important things when it comes to this topic, when it comes to why your husband may dread coming home. So, bonus point, your husband may dread coming home because he feels like he is walking into a war zone. Ladies, we want our husband to, when he thinks of home, is somewhere peaceful. It's somewhere where he can just lay down his defenses. He doesn't need to have walls up and defenses up. It's a place, it's a sanctuary, right? We don't want him to come home and feel like he has left one war zone of spiritual warfare, especially when it comes to everything out there, to another war zone. And of course, obviously, there's spiritual warfare home and out there, of course. But when it comes to what we can do as his wife, we want, when he thinks of us, when he thinks of home, he thinks of peace and relaxation. If we have a negative attitude, and that's just our default mode. I'm not talking about you just having a bad day once in a while. I mean, our default mode is to have a negative attitude where we are constantly defensive, where we are picking arguments and if we are doing that, there's obviously something going on within us that is causing that to be going on, and that's a whole other video for another time. But if we are somebody that is going to be, you know, as soon as he comes in, it's like you're ready to pick a fight. You know, you've held on to maybe unforgiveness for things that has happened earlier, and you just, yeah, your attitude's just negative. You're moody, you're cranky, you're rude, you're disrespectful. Of course, he's going to dread coming home. He might stall and do whatever it takes, maybe purposely take extra overtime, not for the sake of needing more cash, but even just for the sake of avoiding coming home. If he's going to be coming home to an argumentative, nagging, complaining, combative woman, the good book itself, the Holy Scriptures, warns us and lets us know that a nagging wife, a complaining woman, the woman that I'm explaining, that I'm talking about, is better to live on a rooftop. It's better to be in a desert than to be at home with such a woman. So if you are creating that atmosphere, then your husband will definitely dread coming home. Ladies, and that is all. Which of these things do you find that you struggle with the most? As I already said, for me it is number one, that temptation to really want to right away let him know what has bothered me at home. It's just not really the best time, and something that I definitely struggle with. What is it for you? Let me know in the comments. In my next video, I'm going to be letting you guys know some things that you can do to make him excited to come home. Alright, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.